Global Education Media presents Education Report on TV, the television program that promotes educational events and activities across the country for parents, students, practitioners in educational fields across categories, corporate organizations with products and services that appeal to the youths, government officials, particularly those saddled with the responsibility of managing education, and the general public. It also covers programs and activities in the educational sector, such as awards and opening ceremonies, school inter-house sports, collaborative engagement with NGOs, as well as corporate organizations, plus vocational and technical education, institution for people with special education needs, individual contribution towards the growth and development of education while celebrating success in the educational sector at all levels. For sponsorship and advert placement, please contact 0803 323 2771 or 0812 120 1359. Education Report on TV, promoting excellence in education on television nationwide.
After a long summer holiday, stakeholders in the private sector of education in Lagos State gathered together at a forum recently organized by the Lagos State Ministry of Education with the aim of rubbing minds, interacting and brainstorming with each other with the mission of taking education in Lagos State to a greater height.
It's a great pleasure for me to welcome all of us here today. After a very long summer holiday, I'm sure we are all refreshed. We've taken our due rest. We are now back to work, to roll up our sleeves, to ensure that we all work together to take education to that enviable height. Yes, we are government. You are also providers of education in Lagos State. We can't do it alone without all of us here. And we are partners in progress. So the essence of this meeting is for all of us, as usual, to brainstorm, to interact, to see how we can improve the system we have right now in Lagos State on education.
The forum, which had in attendance the Commissioner for Education in Lagos State, Mrs. Olayinka Oladunjoyi, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Mrs. Omolara Eregbogbo, Tutor Generals and Directors saw participants sharing their comments, contributions, asking questions, and voicing their complaints. Officials of the Ministry of Education took turns to answer the questions and issues raised.
For Junior Secondary 3, we have third-term scheme for them. Unfortunately, this group of students will not stay in school for third term. How do we now implement this curriculum when the students that are supposed to take all these topics are not in school at that time?
If you recall, some years ago, when we pushed the exams to come up after midterm in third term, you will recall that our results came out very, very late. To the point that the students could not resume for SS1 early enough. As at the time resumption was for SS1, we were still waiting for results because the examiners were required to mark that same exam had been engaged by ECHO and other examinations portal. And so the solution we had at the exam board was for our own exam to come up before the ECHO exam. We are looking at the situation. If there is a way we can improve upon that, we will do so.
And indeed, there is a way we can improve upon it.
Okay.
What we are going to do is to set up a committee. The representative of every association is going to join this committee on curriculum and examination. Curriculum, examination, and calendar. So each of you representing each of the committees or association would be members of this committee in addition to Lagos State government officials.
Before this current regime in Lagos State, there is what we call student personal identification number called SPIN. This number is used to ensure the data of pupils and students in schools, public and private, are captured and used as they progress in their educational career.
The consultants will be invited. The schools, the providers will also be invited. Where these problems will be ironed out directly in your presence.
First, and in in Nigeria and in Lagos State in particular is the model of our mother tongue, and that is our language, our culture. Recently, the federal government came up with a new curriculum that has made compulsory 5 subjects without considering our mother tongue. It has become optional for students in secondary school now to take their mother language. And by the time we are losing our identity and we focus on other people's language, then I wonder how far we can go. The better we can ever be the second to the English then.
With the system we have, it is optional in the secondary school. The curriculum is there. Individual schools can deviate a bit and make it comfortable for yourself. For example, the primary schools. If we start off with the teaching of mother tongue in the primary schools, yes, it's understandable. But getting to the secondary schools, it is optional. It is optional. We cannot force the children.
We all know that except the child gets to a minimum of 11 and 12, it is not proper to admit a child in secondary school. But what we have now is that students are admitted not only from primary 5, known as those primary 4 students have been admitted, and primary 6 is being relegated to the background that students are no longer passing through primary 6 and don't finish their curriculum.
When I came on board, I saw that that was what was happening, and I insisted that children must write examination as part of our efforts to ensure that we don't have underage children. And that's why we have the placement examination, some of you are calling common entrance. And if you don't have a school certificate, if you don't read primary 6, there is no way you can be able to write that exam.
We are having this challenge of children about exams. They've been told they're going to be placed. But up till now, there are what we call misplacement of names. For instance, the child who wrote the exam in Ethiopia is having his name placed in Lekki.
That might happen for now, because we don't have enough infrastructure in some of these areas. And then what we can do, because we know we have provision for children in public schools. Those are the data and the number we have. We don't have the data and the number of children in private schools. So we can only make provision with what infrastructure we have. So if the school is far away from your home, for now, that's the best that we can do.
We also want to plead that you use your power and authority to grant us access to the hall, as some of government owns halls where we can have lecture, seminar without paying through our nose to use these halls.
Well, for the use of stadia or stadium or halls, we have individual requests. We'll see what we can do about that. I don't think there should be a problem because Ministry of Youth, Sport and Social Development is in charge of supporting activities even within our school system. So I know the Honorable Commissioner is alive to his responsibilities and he knows that if we want to use the stadium or the stadia, it will be done in subsidized rates. So I don't think there's a problem with that.
Even if Lagos State will not create educational fund tax to support and sponsor activities in private schools, even if Lagos State will not share out of their core project and extend that benefit to private schools, even if Lagos State will not create an educational bank like what we have in agricultural bank, where we can get 1 ticket interest on loan to run our activities in private school. At least, Honorable Commissioner Matters, you expect that some grants be extended to us.
I'm happy to report that we have answers to that. Because I know that you're a veritable partner. And you are taking a large chunk of these children off the streets. And I'm sure you will continue to do that for us. Because I know that government cannot do it alone. So after I continue to plead, done various seminars, I've gone abroad, United Kingdom government has come up with a fund to assist low-fee paying schools in Lagos. The qualification criteria. I'll use the floor for Dr. Ilusanya. Tell us more about it.
It is technical assistance to the Lagos State government to improve the quality of private education. And so one of the things the program is going to be doing is facilitating, whether the school is low fee, is high fee, facilitating access to finance, discussing with banks, looking at organizations that may be interested, because pushing up the research about private school in Lagos, even into the international space, and saying there is need for international donors, international organizations to support access to loans.
In an interview, the Commissioner for Education in Lagos State, Mrs. Olayinka Oladunjoye, urged private school owners to be supporters of the Lagos State government.
They have to continue to be supporters of government, which they have been, because they are a major stakeholder. They must continue to obey the rules and regulations of the state governments. They must continue to pay their taxes and levies, and they must ensure that they have good learning outcomes, which is the essence of why they have opened their school anyway, and I've said that to them.
On her part, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Mrs. Omolara Iregbobo, disclosed the importance of interacting with the stakeholders in the private sector.
From the 2010 private and public school census we conducted, we found out that there are over 12,000 private schools in Lagos State. And then it means we have more of these children in the private school. So the essence of our quarterly interactive session is to interact with private schools to make sure that we are on the same page and we are able to take education in Lagos State to the next level. We can't do it alone. So there is need for us to work together as a team to make sure that education in Lagos State is the best.
Other participants at the event spoke on what should be done to improve education service delivery provided by the private sector.
Developing effective private education Nigeria. This is a new UK aid program from Department for International Development. The program started in September 2013, and it's a program that came as a result of research done with the Lagos State government on the participation of private sector in education service delivery in Lagos. The program came up as a result of those findings, which actually showed that a large number of children attending school in Lagos are actually attending private schools. And so discussion went on with the Honorable Commissioner and senior government officials on what needed to be done in terms of improving education service delivery, especially those ones provided by the private sector. This is to complement the effort of the state in the area of improvement of public education. The impact of the program is improvement in learning achievement for children in Lagos State schools. Remember, whether the children attend public or private, they are children of Lagos State government. And you heard the commissioner said, I am mother of 10 million children. That is all the children in Lagos. So what we are looking at is we are looking at the constraints to development of private education to the extent that they are able to deliver on improved learning, looking at the rules and standards, looking at information, looking at the way teaching and learning is conducted, pedagogy, and looking at access to finance.
The brainstorming, the meeting have been so fruitful, and ideas were allowed to come out freely. There was no form of any intimidation, and all participants are happy, especially how her Honorable, the Commissioner for Education, handles some salient issues, questions that were asked by participants. You can recall when she mentioned that the certification of primary education and JX3 examination shall be looked into holistically, and I quote her language. She also promised and immediately set up a committee to look into school calendar, school curriculum, and of course examination in Lagos State. But with this committee and the subcommittee she has ordered that should be set up, with all associations being represented in this committee, then this is the right step in the right direction. And we feel here today that we have been listened to, we are happy,
And we thank all officials that have made today a reality.
I thank God for this forum because this is the only forum we have to express our feelings. In fact, today I am very, very happy because most of my members have a lot to air out their views concerning what they are passing through in their different local governments. And the governor have his own representative, and our commissioner for the woman is a mother indeed. Not only that, the way she presents herself here, even on phone, I email her from time to time, and she reply me anytime I email her. She don't need to know you before she will give you the right reply. She's a mother indeed, in all ramifications. I really appreciate God for the type of leader we are having in education this time around. They understand the view of people. Look at the suggestion she brought that we should have our representative in yearly calendar, curriculum and examination and everything. You know, it's bringing us to have a say in all these things so that we will have the right peg in the right hole. These are good things that we are expecting in education.
Conclusively, it is said that two heads are better than one. With private school owners working in partnership with the state government, there is no doubt that education in Lagos would be at its peak.